Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we are back with one such project in Terraform where we are going to create RDS with the help of Terraform, and then what we are going to do is we are going to migrate the database running on EC2 to the RDS. Okay. So this is going to be a interesting project. Something new is coming up, and the prerequisites for this particular project is that you need to have Terraform installed. You also need to have AWS CLI installed. Okay. And you also must know how to configure AWS. Okay. So these are the prerequisites which you should know. So if you don't know any of these, you can go back to my previous videos where I have uh, explained everything in detail. Okay. So you can refer that for your reference. Okay. So let's start by creating an EC2 instance and the security group. Okay, so this is our first step. Okay, so let's go to this RDS folder. Now we are going to create modules. Okay, we are not going to directly create those resources, we are going to create modules. So within this module folder, I will be creating one more folder for EC2. Okay, and within these folder I will be creating files like main.tf, also variables.tf. Okay, so as of now only these two. We can also add one more, that is output.tf. Okay, fine. So let's go to the Terraform documentation, EC2 instance. Okay, so let's open this, and over here you can see this resource is there for AWS instance. Okay, let's copy this and paste it over here. Okay, so for AMI, I will be making use of the existing AMI. Let's go to the EC2. I'll take it from console only. Okay, instances, then within instances, go to launch instance, and over here you will get the AMI ID. Can see this over here, right? So just copy this one and just add it over here. Or instead of adding it directly over here, we can create variables for each of them. Okay, so let's go over here. Variable AMI ID. Okay, type is equal to string, and we'll pass the default value here itself. Okay, so this is our value, and we will be adding it over here. So var dot AMI ID. Similarly for the instance type as well. Okay, for the instance type, okay, and we are going to create a variable instance type, and type should be again of type string, and default will be t2.micro. Okay, so let's pass it out over here. Var dot instance type. Also we will have to pass subnet ID. Okay, let's mention it over here as well. Let me copy this, and in here we are going to consider subnet ID. Now let's take the subnet ID from here. Let's go to VPC first. Now Now within VPC we have got a subnet section from where we can just grab the subnet ID and paste it over here. Okay, so we can add var.subnet ID as well. Okay, now we also need to create a security group, right? So for that, we are going to add another resource for security group, Terraform. Okay, you can consider this one. We would just require one rule, that is for SSH. Okay, so I'll remove this extra one. Okay, fine. So let's change it to EC2 SG. Similarly for this as well. Okay, so let's change this as well. For the VPC ID again, we will use another variable over here, var dot VPC underscore ID. So we need VPC ID for the security group. Again, let's go to the console. Within your VPCs, we have one VPC. Let's copy from here. Let's add this value over here. Okay, so we are done with it. Again, just edit this as well. Okay, so this is with our AWS security group. Now with respect to the ingress rules, we need to pass the security ID, right? So AWS security.ec2 underscore sg dot id. Okay, then after that, this is a block. So I am directly mentioning the block over here from anywhere we want to access to the secure shell which runs on port 22. Okay, now after that we have got this one once again where we need to change the w security group enter dot id, and the rest of the things I will be keeping them as it is. Okay, fine. Oops, I'm sorry, I just, yeah, so now it's fine, I think so. But I also need to change the name over here. According to me, I will be just adding it as DB server. Okay, so our EC2 instance is ready. Now, since we want this security group ID for our RDS, we will have to output it. Okay, so what will be in the output section? It will be sg underscore ID. So what is the value? The value is AWS security group EC2 underscore sg dot id. So this will be the ID for EC2. Okay. So this module is done for us. Okay. So how are we going to call it? We are going to call it in the child module. Sorry. new file, we'll be creating main.tf. Okay, so in this, what I'll do is I'll call this module of EC2, where I am going to pass the source. Now the source is dot slash modules slash EC2, and we don't have to pass anything because we have already included the default values over here, so we don't need to pass. Okay, so this much is sufficient, I guess, okay, for the EC2 to work. Now the next module that we need to create is for the secrets. Okay, for creating the secrets manager. So the new folder within modules will be secrets. Okay, again here we will be having main.tf, variables.tf, output.tf. Okay, now what we need to do is let's go and search for the secrets manager. Okay, so the secrets manager is here. So we are going to basically create these two resources, that is AWS Secrets Manager Secret as well as AWS Secrets Manager Secret version. So these two we are going to create. So let's consider this. Okay, and in here let's change this to secrets, and let us name this as, let's say, any name would be fine. Let's say credentials. Okay, and then we also are going to create version. So over here. Okay, now instead of considering this one, I will be considering this one since I'll be encoding it with a JSON. Okay, so this is a secret version, and over here we are going to replace it with secrets dot id. Enter. Fine. Now we are going to use this particular secrets manager to store the password of our RDS. Okay, since it is not a good practice to store the password anywhere, right? So if we add it like this, it will be secure. Okay, so let's go and add password over here. So we are going to encrypt our password with the help of secrets manager. Okay, now let's go to the variables first. So within that I will be creating a password which will be of type string. Yes, so now whatever password I am passing, I also need the output, right, as a secret string which I will be passing to the RDS, right? So for that again I will be mentioning the output over here. Okay, let's say db password. Okay, and the value is JSON decode. Since we had encoded it previously, we will be decoding it right here. Okay, so AWS Secret Manager secrets version dot secret string. Okay, let me check whether it's secret string. Yes, so this is what you are going to output. Okay, so again we'll go to the main.tf. Over here we will be passing the source where we are going to pass the path for the secrets. Okay, and this will be secrets. Another thing that we need to pass from here is the value for password, right? So let's pass it to be password. Let us create another file over here, that is variables.tf. Again, we will be creating a variable for password over here. The type is equal to string. We are going to pass the value through terraform.tf-vars. I'm sorry. So this should be from here, new file, terraform.tf-vars, and I'll be passing the password from here equals to password 123. Okay, so this is not a best practice in organizations. There are multiple ways through which we can pass the password, but over here for simplicity I have passed the terraform.tf-vars. Okay, so this is all about secrets as well as EC2 instance. Now we are done with this. Let's close all of these. Okay, okay, now let's see what is the next step. The next step is to create an RDS module. Okay, so go to the module section, new folder, there we are with the RDS. New file, again we have got main.tf, then variables.tf. Fine. Okay, we won't require much over here. So we are going to create three different resources in this particular module. Okay, so the first one is the security group. The second thing is about DB subnet group, and the third thing that we are going to create is a RDS DB instance. So these three things we are going to create. Okay, so let's go to the security group first. Let's consider this first. Okay, so let's consider it as RDS SG. Same over here, RDS SG. Copy it out. Control C, Control V. Same goes here as well. Now the VPC ID again I have to pass, right? Let's go to the variables. Variable RDS, VPC, type equals to string. Then the default value will be, I will be using the same one that I have used for the EC2 instance. So let me copy this from here. Control C and Control V, Control Z. Fine. Let's go over here. Var dot RDS underscore VPC. Okay. So our security group is done. Now we need to add a rule. Why? Because we will be requiring a security group inbound rule from the EC2 SG to the RDS, right? Since we are going to migrate it. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to create a security group rule which is going to allow the MySQL port to open for that respective security group. Let me show you. So this is AWS security group rule. Okay, so let me just consider this one. This is ingress. Okay, type is ingress from port 3306. MySQL runs on this particular port of 3306. We don't need these CIDR blocks over here since we are going to allow the access from the security group ID of the EC2 instance. So the security group ID will be coming from AWS this one dot ID, but what will be the source then, right? For the source one, we are going to pass a variable over here, EC2 underscore SG, right? So we need to define a variable over here for EC2 SG. Now I am not giving a value over here because the value will be coming from EC2 module. So that's why in the output section I have added this particular security group ID. See, whenever we want to talk to another module or pass a value to another module, then in that case we make use of output. Okay, so this is how we have added the security group rule. Now again for the egress, let me use the same which we had created for this one, the same one which is going to allow for all of them, right? Just you need to change the RDS underscore SGID. Fine. So our security group is ready. So once we are done with that, we are now ready to create a DB subnet group. Okay, let's go to the documentation again. AWS, or just type DB subnet group. You will get this one. Okay, so this one is the subnet group. Okay, so over here let the name be subnet group. Okay, let's name it as DB group, and over here we will be passing an array of subnets within which we want to create our RDS instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again create a variable, but this time the type will be list of string. Okay, and the name will be subnet IDs. Okay, and the value will be, let me fetch these subnets. Okay, so this is one of them. I'll be passing two. Okay, you can pass as per your requirements. Okay, so I have added this one as well over here. Okay, so var dot subnet IDs. Fine. Now the name is DB subnet group. Fine. So this is about our subnet group. Then after that we are going to go for the AWS DB instance. Okay, So over here we can search it for this, and here it is. We can just grab it from here and just paste it over here. Name it as RDS. Now we are going to pass all of these values through the variables. Okay, so let's variabilize it. I will be removing this parameter group. Instead, I will be passing publicly accessible to be true. Okay, and one more thing that I left out is the security group. Let me check over here. Control F. Okay, so this is the VPC security group IDs which we are going to pass. DB subnet group name. So AWS DB subnet group dot name will be passed. Okay. Now we will be creating variables, these 7 variables. Okay. Let's go to the variable section. You see, all of them will be of type. So allocated storage. Then we have another thing, that is engine or DB name. Then we have engine. Then we have engine version. To this we have um, let me check. Okay, I also forgot the storage to add the storage type. It should be of type GP2. Okay, then there is instance class. After instance class we have username. Also we have password. Okay, cool. So we have created the security group, the DB subnet group, as well as the DB instance over here. Now let's go to the main.tf, and in here let's create the module RDS, okay, where we are going to pass the source as dot slash modules RDS. Okay, now we are going to pass all of those values. Okay, allocated storage will be 20. Let's consider the type of this as number and not string. Okay, so we have passed the value over here. Then we have DB name. Let's consider it to be my database. Okay, then after that we have got engine. So since we are working with MySQL in this, I'll consider engine to be MySQL. Then engine version. Engine version will be 8.0. Fine. Then instance class will be of type db.t3.micro. Okay. Afterwards we have the username, which is supposed to be admin, and lastly we have this password which we will be getting from module secrets dot db password. Okay, also there is something that's missing, that is the security group. What is the name that I have given to it? In the source security, EC2SG. So for the EC2SG, we are going to pass module.ec2.sgid. Okay, so in this way we have almost passed all the values. Still, let me check if I have missed anything. I don't think so I have missed anything. Okay, so all the values are here, and now we are ready to apply the changes. Okay, so let's go to the terminal, new terminal. Okay, so we have this over here. Okay, no problem. So let's try to go for Terraform init. So with the help of Terraform init, we can see .terraform folder has been created, which is going to initialize all of the modules. Okay, okay, cool. So let's go for Terraform fmt, that is Terraform format command. Then once it formats, let's check, let's validate it. Okay, the configuration is valid. Now we can apply those changes. Okay, Terraform. First we'll plan and see how many resources are getting created. Okay, so retrieving AWS account details, validation provider. Okay, so we need to add the provider.tf as well, which I missed. Okay, provider.tf, sorry, provider AWS, and the region over here is US East 1. Okay, Terraform encountered an error while generating this plan. Line 1, retrieving. Okay, let me do Terraform init once again. Okay, retrieving AWS account details, validating provider credentials, retrieving caller identity. Okay, so I think I have AWS installed. Let me configure the AWS. Okay, there are some credentials. I'll be back. Okay, so I have configured my AWS. Now I think it should work. Yes, so it's working and we can see that 11 resources are to be added. Okay, so the secret manager, secrets version, then we have the another one that is the secrets, then we have VPC security group egress rule, then ingress rule, then the security group itself, then we have DB subnet group. Lastly, we also have got the RDS, and along with RDS, we have the security group rule um, that belongs to the EC2. Then we have the EC2 instance itself. So all of them are getting created. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, now we can apply the changes. Okay, Terraform apply hyphen hyphen auto hyphen approve. Okay, now it is going to start creating all of the resources. See, your database as well as EC2 instance will take some time. Okay, let's go to the console. Let's go to the instances. You can see that this instance is getting created. Okay, let's go to the RDS as well. The DB instances, you can see this one is also getting created. Okay, it is still in the pending condition. Okay, so we can see that our instance is in the running condition, and though the status check is in initializing, let us try if we can connect to our instance. Okay, let's wait for it to be 2 by 2 checks passed. Okay, once it is ready, we can try to access it. Let me close all of these unnecessary tabs. Okay, okay, I think I need to make few changes over here in the code because it has to be for the EC2 instance. Yeah, it has to be 22, right? But it is showing me as 3306. Let me check. Okay, I didn't pass it or what? Let me check. Yeah. Okay, I have not passed the security group over here. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. So once this is completed, I can add this. Yeah, that's why I was trying to see because the port 22 is not available over here and it's showing as default security group. So that's why. No worries, we'll add it. No worries at all. Yeah, so it is done. So let's go over here and add VPC security group IDs, and in here let's pass the security group of sg.id. Okay, so this will be getting automatically saved. And Terraform plan. Okay, so the security group will change. Let's do Terraform apply hyphen hyphen auto hyphen approve. Okay, okay, so this is done. Now let's go and check whether the security group is correct now. Let's refresh this tab. Let's refresh the whole page. Okay, we have this one and 22 is here. Okay, now let's try to connect. Yes, so now we have connected to our EC2 instance. Let's zoom it out a bit. Okay, great. Now let's go to the info.txt. Let's close this. So we have applied the changes. Now the fifth thing that we need to do is to install MySQL on EC2 instance. So for that we have already listed all the commands that are required. So let's execute these commands one by one. Okay, enter. Cool. Then we have this one. Okay, then we are going to install this. Okay, yes. Okay, cool. Now this command, paste. Nice. Now we are going to install the server. Yes, enter. Okay, let's start this. Cool. So let's check the status now. Status MySQLD. Enter. So it is active and in a running state. That's great. Okay, so now what we will be doing is let's fetch the password of the current MySQL. Okay, so how can we do that? Let's go to var log, and in this we will be getting mysqld.log file. So just cat this particular file and grep for the password. So over here you will be able to see the password which belongs to our MySQL database. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll currently paste it over here. Okay, great. Now what I'll do is I'll try to log in into the MySQL. Let's go back again. But before that, let's go run everything as a root. Okay, then MySQL hyphen u root as the user hyphen p, enter. It will prompt us to enter the password. I'll just copy this, Control C, and paste it over here and enter. So what we are doing over here is that we are going to create a database in the EC2 instance now with the help of MySQL. Okay, and once it is done, what we are going to do is we are going to migrate this particular database to the RDS database. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So first we are trying to log in into MySQL of our EC2 instance. Okay, now in this, the first thing that we have to do is to alter our or reset our password. Okay, because that password we can't remember. So the command over here is alter user root @localhost. Okay, identified by whatever password you want to give. Let's say admin @123. Okay, and enter, colon, enter. Okay, so now the password has been changed to admin @123. Okay, for the root. That's what you need to keep in your mind. Or let me just copy this out. Okay, and just paste it over here. This is our new password. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a database. So before that, let me check what is there in the how many databases are there. So we can see there are 4 different databases already created by default. Now I want to create a database. So create database, let's say EC2 DB, since this belongs to EC2. Okay, now again if I ask them to show me databases, you can see the EC2 DB here as well, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a table within this database. So for that we have to mention use EC2 DB. Now the database has been changed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table. So for creating a table, there is a command create table employee first name, comma, sorry, the type that we want it for, comma, last name 20. Okay, sorry, I'm really sorry guys. Varchar. Okay, and then after that we have dob date. Okay, this is how we define our table. Now in this I'm going to add few records. Okay, so insert into employee first name, last name, comma, dob, and we are going to pass the values from here. So the first name, okay, this is the last name, and then we have dob, that is okay, enter. So we have added this particular record. I am also going to add one more. Okay, let's go for Tony Stark, and let's also change the date of birth. Enter. So now let's see our table. Select star from employee. Okay, so now over here you can see that this table is created with these particular attributes, and these are the values of those attributes, right? So In this way we have created an employee table within the database and added the records to it. Okay, now the same thing should be reflecting on the database of the RDS server. Okay, so let's try to exit from here. Okay, now let's try to connect to our uh, database of RDS. Okay, MySQL -h. Okay, so what we are going to do is, in order to connect to this one, we need to add this endpoint over here. So let me paste it out here. Okay, -p 3306. Okay, -u, the admin name is the, yeah, so the username is admin, -p, and enter. So now the password is what I had passed using Terraform. Now we are inside of the RDS database. Okay, now let's check the databases first. Over here you can see my database. Okay, so this is the database that we passed from here. Over here you can see within the main we passed the DB name, right, which we passed over here, my database. Okay, so it created a database within the RDS. Okay, now let's check what is there within this database of my database. Okay, now show tables. So you can see that nothing is there present in this particular table of my database. Now if I want to migrate the EC2 DB which I created in the local MySQL, how can I do that? So let's see how to do this. Okay, let me exit from this. Okay, now the first thing that we have to do is use MySQL dump. So MySQL dump -u root -p EC2 DB db.sql. Okay, so in this command what we are actually doing is we are dumping our MySQL data from the database EC2 DB into the db.sql file. Enter. Now I have to pass the password, which is admin@123. Enter. Okay, now you will be able to see that db.sql file has been generated. Okay, now once I have dumped my data over here, I need to pass this data to the database of our RDS server, right? So how are we going to do that? So there is a command that is mysql. Okay, -h again. We are going to get the endpoint once again from here. Endpoint, paste it over here. -u admin capital P 3306 -p and my database db.sql. Enter. Now we have to enter the password of our RDS. Password 123. Enter. Okay. So now let's check our MySQL of RDS. Okay. Again we have to run the command mysql -h. Enter this value, that is the endpoint -u admin -p. Enter. the password again, enter, and we are within our MySQL of RDS. Let's check the show databases. My database is there. So use my database, and now let's see show tables. Now in this you can see employee table, which means that the data from our local EC2 database has been transferred or migrated to our RDS. Okay, let me select star from employee, enter. You can see the same data reflecting over here. So this is really great thing that we have done. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this session. I also enjoyed it a lot. So I hope you liked this session. So that was all about this. And what I'm going to do is now the most important thing is to destroy. If you are using the free tier account, then the foremost thing is you have to take track your resources, keep the track of it, and just don't pay extra amount because of your foolishness. Okay, so just destroy everything that you have created now. Okay, so I have also started the destruction. Okay, so this was all about this project. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and also let me know new ideas on which project can be done. Okay, so that I can come up with such interesting projects more and more. Okay, please comment down in the um, comment section and let me know. Okay, so thank you so much and have a nice day.